Hey folks, it's Rob. Before we get started today, we just wanted to let you know that this entire episode is going to be about Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled by any of the movie, skip this episode, come back once you've seen it, and listen to us bitch and moan about something or other. Who knows? All right, let's get started.
Welcome to Best Threesome Ever, a podcast discussing all things revolving around nerdy pop culture. Probably not what you were expecting, but it's just as fun. Now here are your hosts, Nick, Rob, and Kevin.
All right, here we go. Best Threesome Ever, episode 142, brought to you by Mind's Eye Comics in Egan. Just kidding. Brought to you by Heroic Games and Goods in Minneapolis and Jaybird Wines. Now, just to let you know, folks, as the cold open said, this is a very special spoiler-filled episode of Spider-Man No Way Home. Just like our Star Wars episode 7 episode, we're going to be going hard on this one, so get out if you haven't seen it. So that's right, folks. I'm Peter.
I'm Peter.
I'm Peter.
That's right. Now,
Peter 2? Peter 1?
So I was actually thinking about that.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Peter 1.
Rob being the youngest would be Peter 1. If we're going by age, Rob would be Peter
okay.
1. I would be
Peter
3. You would be Peter 2.
By age?
Yeah.
I'm older than you.
Yeah. Peter 2 was Tobey.
Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
And Garfield was Peter 3.
Okay.
So,
hey, by the way, folks, Toby and Andrew showed the fuck up, just like we expected. Worst kept secret since fucking Con.
Now, hold on. Now, if we're going by demeanor,
Peter 3.
Peter 3.
so I believe that would make... I think that I would be Peter 1.
Yeah.
Because I tend to be the most optimistic. I actually think...
I'll take Peter 3 because I also have golden retriever energy. I'm aware. Andrew Garfield? Absolutely. Which leaves Nick with Peter 2 again. But
I think either way, you're kind of the Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
You're
very calm, serene, sort of like...
You got this shit on lock. You're a fucking sucker for a redhead, and nobody can stop you.
Accurate. Very
we know.
accurate.
Yeah, I think
we know.
Either way, you're Peter 2, but I think Rob and I switch if we go by demeanor.
Your switch Peters?
I mean, if anybody's the switch Peter, it's definitely going to be Tom Hall. No.
No.
Andrew Garfield's
the switch Peter.
Toby's the top Tom very much.
Power bottom all the way.
MJ gives it to him Amazonian style.
Yep.
So anyway.
But just as emotionlessly as you would assume.
Before we get started on it, do we want to do any of the nerd grabs or anything like that, or should we just go in raw?
I think we just go on raw like we normally do.
Fair enough.
All right.
The word raw was said way too many times.
I have, one gripe with this film. I just want to start off with a gripe. I'm just
All
saying.
right, that's fair. Why don't...
By all means.
I wouldn't mind just starting off with a quick overview of
Your overviews last the entirety of the movie, though.
No, I'm not. That's not what I mean.
I mean, I don't think we need an overview.
Sentence of
since it's not the half an hour one, and we're going full on. The overview will be there. What is your gripe?
That part with when they bring in Spawn. God, this fucking movie. What the fuck were they doing? Yep, I did that. You're welcome.
Do you have our predictions? Because I know there was a few things that each of us got right. Rob, congratulations on calling that Willem Dafoe would be the main antagonist.
Yeah.
And that the reason why they didn't show much of him is because he spent a lot of the movie trying to be a good boy.
Have them
they really rocked that duality of Norman versus the Goblin. They gave him kind of an old look with that sweet purple hoodie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, old school look. I don't know if you noticed this in your screening, but I noticed it immediately as he's walking out of Happy's apartment and the shadow casts on him. Did you see the wall?
Where it had the
old school goblin hood costume,
where it looked like it was the kind of long Legend of Zelda beanie cap.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my god, I thought that was
choice.
That was a great addition to the scene. I'm like, oh hey, I noticed that. Well done.
Much like Kevin's very skillful Kingpin.
I
know we'll talk about Hawkeye next week, but the spoilers to that too.
Kevin called Kingpin. Well done.
Kingpin being in Hawkeye.
Yep.
Very well deduced by Kevin. But Daredevil. makes his MCU debut, just like I fucking called.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no. And here's the thing. Remember that photo we found about a month and a half ago?
The one where that was like inside the room.
I don't even remember what I had for lunch, but go on.
Okay, so we found a couple photos about a month and a half ago that we couldn't confirm the veracity of until now, of course, because we know that both of those things happened in the movie.
Oh yeah, it was my leftovers and my Captain Todd's cheesy tuna surprise.
Yeah. So it was a photo of Charlie Cox sitting at Aunt May's table with them, talking about what Peter was going to have to do, and like you could see it. And then there's another shot of it was a three shot of Holland, McGuire, and Garfield, and we couldn't confirm the veracity of the photos because we just weren't sure if there was enough. If it was or was not Photoshopped. Now we know, of course, that those photos, in fact, were fucking legit and straight on.
Yep, and so he didn't end up being the person who kind of slammed the papers on the table. As a matter of fact, from what I recall, that scene didn't exist.
That scene existed.
Like the scene in the police thing existed, but I don't recall a part where somebody in just a button up and a tie slams papers down.
No, that half a second got cut.
Yeah, so maybe that was still him, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But he was Peter Parker's lawyer. Somebody throws a brick through the window and he catches it.
Oh yeah,
I'm a very good lawyer. So big ups to them for not just Matt Murdock, but full on Daredevil.
Bringing in Charlie Cox, bringing in both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio into the universe.
Were big dick moves.
Yeah. Overall, though, those were the two that we expected to see come in because they were the ones that started the MCU television timeline, the Netflix timeline, anyways. And so, that made perfect sense to me.
That would also bring in Jessica Jones and all that.
I mean, here's hoping.
Here's hoping, but I'm not going to say that they're going to bring any of these people in.
Well, I'm not saying they would, but they would make them part of that universe.
Yes, but no.
Which they kind of already did because in Jessica Jones, they literally referred to the stuff that happened in New York.
That's true.
Daredevil season 1, but yes.
Oh.
Well, and Jessica Jones, they talk about
did
it.
they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the kid next door in, what was it, season 2, I think maybe, had a Captain America figure.
Oh, that's right.
And it was a Chris Evans Captain America figure.
Oh, that's right.
So who knows? It's always been sort of a possible slightly different universe.
Yeah.
They've never confirmed nor denied, but this does kind of put it in main universe. Mm-hmm. I do actually have a gripe.
Do you?
Like a real gripe.
Yeah?
It makes the end of Let There Be Carnage nothing more than a fan service cock tease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the reason why later, but that really, because I was so excited for the.
Yep.
And so while I was kind of right that Venom showed up, he didn't show up in any of the capacity I was hoping.
No, he was honestly just there for the fan service, and it's the only part. It's the only bit of fan service in this movie that I hated.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie was
fan service that I loved all over my dick. Please, thank you.
Service masterpiece.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's a little crisp today.
Yeah, it is. A little hot.
A little tangy.
What was I going to say? If you... I'm not like the biggest Spider-Man comic book reader, but there are so many Easter egg little moments in this movie that were so masterfully played into the storyline that some people might go, oh, that was kind of shoehorned or that was kind of cheeky. I don't think so. I think it was perfect. And it fit it didn't ruin the flow of whatever scene that was in, whether it be somebody saying something or... the Peter best threesome ever. Peter's having a come to heart moment. Whatever it was, it was beautiful. It was a masterpiece of. It was done right. I think it was just done right. I mean, and especially to be, and even though they're already into the next phase in the Marvel MCU, I feel that this was if there was a kickoff movie, this would be the perfect of a kickoff movie to welcome in the new phase of Marvel.
And I will respectfully disagree with you on that, but that's because this was much more of a Spider-Man movie than it was a Marvel movie.
Well, I agree, but it's also bringing things together, and it'll lead to other things, and everything else has led up to this.
It's a good linchpin, and it's going to help Doctor Strange's story go along. But this was Spider-Man all the way. This was a love letter to the fans who've been watching since 2001.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's amazing. I do want to talk about Willem Dafoe because
it's like he never left.
I don't understand how a man can play the same character 20 years apart and come harder the second time when he's like fucking much older and maybe not as spry as he was. I don't know how he fucking comes harder the second time around 20 years later, but he did, and I love it.
It looks like they used a little bit of digital cleanup on Molina to make him look a little bit more like he was
on Alfred Molina,
in
yes.
Spider-Man 2, but I'm not sure they did on Willem Dafoe.
Not even a little.
And he hasn't changed at all. He's just sort of yep, this is me.
And what I love about him even more in this film was, and even in the last one, but in this one really, was that when his entire face changed with which part of him he was. I don't think any of that was CGI. I think that was just Dafoe being Dafoe and his wrinkly face.
And I honestly believe that they couldn't. There was no way that they'd be able to do any of that by CGI. He's using classic clowning techniques to morph his face, and it's perfect. Beautiful character work for him.
I've only seen that maybe done a handful of other times, and I've even seen it done in live theater where a character, it was actually Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Where they're very same guy, but also he looked much bigger when he was Hyde, and then when he was,
and that fucking Grinch smile face he puts on. Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude!
Right? Yeah.
What a character actor.
There have been.
Anybody else just have a rock hard boner the entire time?
The whole movie,
the whole time.
Okay. It never went down. Right.
But that, there have been some sort of wouldn't it be funny rumors, and then some other people being but really. Rumors about award season coming up and Willem Dafoe getting a nod for supporting actor.
He should.
Yeah, and
I don't think that's wrong. Yeah.
It was interesting to see what a one movie character arc.
Yeah.
Despite everything we knew about him from the original movie, just the changes he went through from showing up to his befriending of Aunt May.
We'll get there.
To the climax of him being, the final fight. I was a bit confused by Sandman.
How do you figure?
So moving on to Marco, he at the end of Spider-Man 3 had a redemption arc. Yeah. He was like, I am. At his core, he's a good person. It just, the thing with Uncle Ben happened when he was at a low point in his life.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to save his daughter, and they even, went through that in the movie. But then at the end, he joins the dickhead squad, and that just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It did to me only because, he just wants to fucking go home.
Well, but he
joined the not go home team. That's my point.
Well, my problem was because the rest of them didn't want to go home because they're like, I don't want to go home and die. Fuck you, I'm alive. I want to go home and die. But he never died. He maybe. But
that's the thing is that the whole point of the going home was that the Peters devised a way to save them, because that was the whole point of this movie was Tom Holland is just too good of a person to kill. He will do anything possible not to, and
that's his fatal flaw for this movie. It's just not fatal for him.
Mysterio dying took a lot out of him.
Right. Oh yeah,
and it came back to bite him in the ass immediately.
Yeah,
and so that's why the whole Marco thing doesn't make sense to me. Is he should have very much been on the side of the Spider-Mangs, but it would have made the fight probably too easy.
Yeah, I agree.
But that seemed.
I think he was more on the team of let's go home, but don't fucking change me, which is fair. Because, like, that's where Electro was. I think he was fine with going home, but he just didn't want to be changed.
No, he didn't want to go home.
Oh, no, that's right. He liked the new energy.
He liked the energy because it made him a person again. And, he was able to steal, and we found out how he got his hands on Tony Stark's
on Stark Tech, yeah. Which is neat.
That was very neat.
Love the fucking 5-pointed starfish callback. Love it. Every time I love it. You're wrong. Whatever your response is, you're wrong. It was amazing, and don't you ever say anything otherwise.
It was cute.
No, it was awesome. It was amazing. It was a wonderful callback, sir.
Yeah. And that's how I feel every time you are Rob.
So starting at the beginning, this play really legitimately kicks off right after.
Yeah, almost immediately. 10 seconds after.
Yeah, literally the last line. Boom, there we go. He still doesn't say fuck.
It was a well-placed car horn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good old New York.
A couple of shits in this movie, though.
Yeah.
Shits, yeah. They're throwing in the shits.
Monkey guy wasn't there.
Well, they've been saying shit a lot in fucking Hawkeye. They just dropping them like they're dropping shits. I was trying to make a bad.
Yeah,
the bad pun went worse.
It's funnier when you're trying because it gets cringier.
Right,
it's amazing.
I know. Yeah, so it right off the bat, and then fucking
my rush through the whole legal aspect of it.
Yeah,
it just sort of went like, okay, I guess you're just go home, I suppose.
You're
whatever.
fine because I'm a good lawyer, but I'm not good enough to get Happy off of. I'm like, why Happy? Because he's not in charge of Stark Industries.
And he has a whole lot of stolen tech in his apartment.
That was Sabra's issue, too. She's like, where is Pepper in all this?
Yeah,
She's
Pepper
running the company.
It would be Pepper that would be responsible for it.
My only guess is because Happy was Spider-Man's liaison to Stark.
Right, and that's referring to the plane crash, which had all the shit Tony stuff in it from Avenger Tower.
Yeah, maybe.
And but I don't. Well, knowing New York, it probably was stolen.
Because he is the head of security and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
For Stark, so the drones would have been under his jurisdiction in the company. That could be a possibility, but I still feel like there should have been. There should have just been like a sprinkle of Pepper in there.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to go up to the company. And like they were able just to march into Stark Industries with all of a sudden trucks driving away with tons of shit. I'm like, what? No, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry you guys couldn't see my face when I said sprinkle of pepper.
It was great. I appreciate it. I'm going to acknowledge that joke.
You.
That was solid. It was a solid joke. I liked it a lot.
Huh? Sprinkle of pepper.
Salt Bay. Salt Bay.
Little Salt Bay.
You look like you were about to say something.
Visual
I don't know. Audio podcast. I have no idea what it was. But I do know that I didn't hear a word that you said because I was so enamored with his pepper joke.
I still heard.
I'm
buddy.
sorry
that they walk through Stark Industries with a resistance.
Yeah,
and they just were trucking out tons of shit. I'm like, what are you taking? Do you have a warrant for this? Well, I mean, come on.
I mean, we can assume they did.
I would assume so too, but I agree it was a little rushed, but also wasn't really a big part of the story.
And they had shit to get to.
Yeah,
like the incredible things I didn't know I need until it was in my face bromance between the three Peters and the absolute like inseparable brotherly love they had for each other
immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then so they zip through that, and then the whole like, there. I do actually have a gripe, but we'll get to it. And it's not a very big gripe, just something that, much like the Hermione Granger issue that I have with one of the Harry Potter movies. But anyways, I'll explain it later.
No, you have to explain.
You have to explain it now.
Okay, I've been rewatching Harry Potter just because. It's that time of the year. It's like the Christmas, whatever.
Sure.
Anyways, so when she gets her little time turner, right, and then like. Harry and Ron are like, where the fuck? Where were you here? What? Where were you? You couldn't have been here. And like, she's like, I've been here the whole time. I'm like, everybody around her didn't see her there, and now she's there. Every time she does it, there's people behind her.
Okay, so how does that relate to Spider-Man now?
That relates to the very end when everybody forgets who Spider-Man, Peter Parker
I
is.
haven't stopped thinking about it.
I'm trying to like put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, how
works.
exactly do
Like,
you erase Peter Parker completely?
How did the end of that scene after they cut away from him swinging away? Did MJ and all of them go, "Oh, what happened? Why are we here?
Why are we in burning wreckage of the Statue of Liberty?
In some way, was it like the spell made them just every time they would see Peter, like they would see Spider-Man, regardless if he had his mask off, that his mask would be on. And like that, maybe that's a spell. But then with Doctor Strange, even like he's like, well, I'm going to forget you too. I'm like, he could just go to the Sanctum thing as Spider-Man and go, hey, Doctor Strange. He'd be like, hey, Spider-Man. He's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. Oh, cool. Now I know who you are. Like, why?
Yeah, he can fix it easy with Doc Strange, but like, and explain it to Doc Strange.
But they still know who Spider-Man is. Everybody knows. So everything that happened with him, regardless, flying around with the past movies and all that.
So what you're saying is all that's changed now is that in Avengers Infinity War, the I'm Peter, Doctor Strange, we're using our made-up names, that scene didn't happen.
Well, and everybody else that knows who he is. I mean, most of the Avengers know who he is.
But they don't anymore. So what you're saying is...
Nobody knows who he is
Nobody knows who he is.
Right.
So like the only thing that changes there is that he's only known as Spider-Man in the Avengers movies. No one knows him as Peter.
Right. I get that. But then, like, when he moved into the apartment, like, where did he get the money from? I mean...
Aunt May.
Aunt May.
Everything that was hers would have been bequeathed
But he doesn't exist. No, it wouldn't.
No. They just forget who Peter Parker is. That doesn't mean Peter Parker is erased from existence. He can still get. He's still got a car. Like, no one knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Correct. And then everybody who knew Peter Parker doesn't know who he is, including Happy.
Right.
And somehow they were interconnected between and then there were scenes between them.
My guess is since she was already dead, that sort of skips her because he is still related to her familially, and he's her only family. So even if her memory of him would have been posthumously erased, I think per her will, if he's her only living relative, it goes to
that
him.
would make sense. Then why wouldn't she take that nice apartment she lived in?
Oh, because he didn't. Well, because
it was destroyed. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, that was the Happy one. No, the hideaway one was.
Well,
anyways,
were you also disappointed that Mr. Ditkovich was not his landlord?
I was, yeah.
But
I really was.
They didn't really show him, and they gave him the same line.
No, but that was definitely not the same voice
it would have been,
guy.
Well, it wasn't the same.
Reds do it first of month.
Yeah, it would have been significantly more Eastern European.
Stay away from skinny daughter.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awkwardly attractive, skinny daughter, yeah.
Brent. Sorry. So when I lived with a friend of the show, Sean Beveridge, and we were roommates,
oh my God, they were roommates.
Oh my God. I mean, right?
Scary.
I've met Sean and me and seen what we do together.
I love
that phrase isn't far off.
I love how my two worlds have collided with Sean Beveridge. I've known him since before he was a freshman in high school.
Sure. So anyways, when I lived with Sean Beveridge, first of the month, he would remind me that rent was due. But he would remind me by texting me a GIF every month. And the GIF was of Mr. Ditkovich saying, rent? Every month. Whether or not I had already paid it or not, like... Sometimes it was a little late, but some days, but like a lot of months I was early, but didn't matter. First of the month comes around, sure enough, rent.
It's just Sean is a very good boy.
He is a very good boy. That's true.
And the apartment was very familiar looking to Tobey Maguire's.
It felt like Tobey's apartment from Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Anybody else think that Tobey Maguire looks like the younger brother of Thomas Lennon?
Thomas Lennon.
Is that his last name? From Reno 911?
Reno 911,
yeah.
A little bit.
Because like when he was talking and his lip, and the way he was talking with his lip all stiff, and it's very Thomas. Trust me, watch some of,
Okay.
It's very, very similar.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I did. And I heard it too, so. Yeah, and we finally got May to say one of the biggest, or we finally got the biggest line of ever in any Spider-Man. It took three movies
to
and
hear,
like 7 appearances of Spider-Man for somebody to say it finally.
For someone to finally say great power, great responsibility. And she said, when there's great power, there must also be great responsibility, which is from the original comic. That's
Right.
the actual line. Instead of with great power comes great responsibility, which was said in the other 2 Spider-Man movies with Garfield and Maguire.
Well, the Andrew Garfield one, they changed it a little bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember how they said it, but they said it a little differently.
Which is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
well, May is the only one that has said it comic accurate now.
Which is funny because
no, Uncle Ben said with great power comes great responsibility in the first one.
Right, but the original comic in Amazing Fantasy 15, the original line is, with great power there must also come great responsibility. And that's the line that she uses. Like the original Amazing Fantasy number 15, word for word, that's the one she uses, not with great power comes great responsibility, like the full thing.
If you want to get even more deeper about it, outside of the truck that she drives, the truck that she drives outside that's containing Lizard,
Feast,
scrawled on the outside in paint is Dixon, or no, yeah, what's the guy's name that created it with Stan Lee?
Ditko.
Thank you. Ditko is sprayed across.
Ditko
is
passages
is sprayed across the truck sitting outside.
Yeah. It's also sprayed on the roof of the school.
Yep.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room with Aunt May saying the line comic accurately. It's just not a good idea to be a parental figure to Peter Parker.
No.
It doesn't matter what form that may take. Tony Stark became a surrogate father. Uncle Ben already died
twice.
Dennis Leary in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
No.
Yeah, don't, and I mean even to a degree, Mysterio.
Yeah,
before he became a dick, he was very
he was very much like that surrogate brother.
Very supportive. Like I'm currently like it's a good thing his memory got erased because I was starting to get very worried for Happy. So Aunt May took the
Uncle Ben hit.
Took the Uncle Ben hit, and she was
or glider hit, as it were.
And she was very brutally murdered by a goblin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like at first we thought she was going to be
fine.
Well, I don't know if fine, but like she was injured. But like she was still talking, and we're like, okay, she's
going to go to a hospital. She's going to be laid up for the rest of the film, but she'll be fine.
But then it took a fucking turn.
Sure did.
And it was gut wrenching because
as soon as she said that line, I'm like, oh, she's dead.
Because they're always very tender with killing Aunt May.
Yeah.
Like it's happened in stories, and I think it's in she's dead in the 616 universe.
She was dead at the end of Civil War because that led directly into the movie-inspired storyline called One More Day. I should say the storyline that inspired the movie. The storyline was One More Day, where Peter and Mary Jane go to Doctor Strange and then fucking Mephisto to basically erase the entirety of their marriage and relationship so that Aunt May can live, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's a wildly dumb plot line and storyline, and it's polarizing for a lot of people.
And that's why people, especially us, truly thought that Mephisto was going to be weird bouffant Doctor Strange, but it wasn't. It was just him being an ass.
Yeah, it was just Doctor Strange being
the new
fucking
hair thing.
dickish.
But yeah, and then in the recent Marvel Spider-Man game for the PlayStation, she dies by the end.
And also finding out that the Sorcerer Supreme is not Doctor Strange.
No,
it's Wong on the technicality.
Wong, which is hilarious.
So speaking of wizards, let's talk about how the Peters came into the universe.
Oh, yes.
So as it turns out, Ned, as foretold by his grandma,
little magic.
He's got a little magic in him.
Where do you think the magic comes from? Do you think he's a descendant of, or somehow related to Shang-Chi?
Ooh, I know the answer to this one. So he's a direct descendant of Handwave. because I don't care. Doesn't matter how he has his magic.
Yeah,
the point is he has magic.
Not every special character needs a backstory and a special parentage. Fucking Nick with Ray.
I didn't want it. That one I didn't care about.
No, that was when you specifically didn't want her to have unique lineage.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying,
I was just wondering, like, is he's just magical?
Hand wave, who cares?
Well, Doctor Strange sure made it seem like anybody could learn magic,
Yeah,
but
he did.
it does seem like he was very
like he was adept
astute to it
right away.
He was made to be a sorcerer, which is cool.
Well, like even if
I like that.
even if like maybe one of his descendants was somebody like a protector, not necessarily like somebody important, but just in.
Or he's just got some cool magic, and it's all him.
So rewinding ever so slightly, Doctor Strange is trying to send the villains back. So that's how Peter gets his magic gauntlet. It's a cool piece of magic tech that.
And I'm sorry, keep going. I want to add to that.
You
real quick.
were both waving your finger at me, so you might as well go.
It's a cool piece of tech, and we found out that the black suit wasn't a black suit; it was just his suit turned inside out.
This is exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he got green slime all over him from protesters. So he flipped it inside out, and that's how he got the cool black suit. It was very neat. I liked it.
That's funny.
And so Doctor Strange is going to send them back to die. Peter's like, sorry, homie, don't play that. He stole it. They went through the mirror universe. Turns out Spider-Man is very good at math. Traps Doctor Strange and takes his sling ring to leave his ass there.
Magic is just math, you guys.
Which was just a fucking brutal thing that Spider-Man did, because I don't think he really had an exit plan for getting Doctor Strange out of there.
No.
Look before you leap, kid. That's been your go-to move. And so Ned takes it. He's like, hey, no, I might be magic, so he holds on to it. And so he accidentally opens up a portal.
And finds out that, yes, in fact, he is magic.
So he's trying to find Peter. He opens up a portal.
And he finds Peter.
He finds Peter, and it's Andrew Garfield, and the audience goes fucking wild. Mm-hmm. And the guy next to me did not like the fact that I cheered that it was Andrew Garfield. He's like, settle down, man. I'm like, it's a midnight premiere. Go fuck yourself. I did not. That is what I said to him. And then he closed in on himself the rest of the fucking movie. I'm like, fuck you. I get to be excited.
Yeah.
I literally told him to go fuck himself.
It was. I didn't see a midnight premiere, but the movie theater, both times that I saw it, was packed. And both times people cheered. And it was kind of cool being back in the theater, hearing a crowd reaction to moments like that.
So I also have a crowd thing that happened to me, and mine is very silly and fully my own fault because I just have ridiculous ADHD. So you guys have seen a movie with me before,
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How would you describe my my movie going self? Maybe just a
interactive.
Little bit. Yeah,
That's a good word.
Yeah, interactive. Kevin, how do you feel about that? You're fine with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick?
Depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's only been the one.
it's only been the one.
And Nick did not appreciate it.
Nick did not appreciate
Well, that's because you kept pushing the armrest into my fucking side every time you went to talk to Kevin.
So my interactive behavior at a movie theater got the best of me this time because we got to the end of the movie and we're getting to the mid-credit sequence, which
We'll talk to him.
yeah, we'll talk about it, I guess. But
Finish
anyways,
your thing. We'll get to that.
yeah. So we get to the mid-credit sequence and like everyone's still talking, and so like just to calm myself down, I go shh. Like I apparently made it audible enough that the woman in front of me, like, gives herself whiplash by looking back at me and goes, "Really? You're shushing everyone? Do you know how loud you are the whole movie?" And, and I'm just like, "Oh, nope, that's fair.
Good on
I've
her.
met me."
That's hilarious.
Like Joanna was even like, "No. You deserved that." And I'm like, that's fair. I wasn't shushing
so
anyone,
funny.
just myself. I was trying to calm me, not necessarily shushing anyone.
But yeah, the guy next to me did not appreciate that I was excited to be watching a movie. But
Right.
He can fucking die.
No, we Joanna and I have made a deal that if it's a big movie, I should probably either go by myself or
We should see more movies together.
We should see more movies
I don't
together.
mind being squirrely. And like, if the three of us see movies together, I will sit between you and Nick, so that Nick is nice and far away from it, and I can kind of be that neutral zone.
But Joanna was just like, "You are. We need to figure out how to see movies together." I'm like, we can absolutely see movies together so long as they're not like if it's a couple weeks out or like. Because she was with me on this of like it's opening weekend. People who are getting like cranky about people reacting in the movie theater. Because we walked past a group who was like, I didn't like all of the clapping. That was a lot. That was too much. I'm like, it's fucking opening weekend, and we've been waiting for something like this for 20 years.
Of the biggest Spider-Man movie fucking ever.
Yeah.
Right. God, did they just insert as much as they could? Phrasing. We got a whole ass Sinister Six movie that.
Yeah, we did.
And we got the full 6 phrasing.
Yeah. I was just thinking about parts of the movie that were. I was thinking before we got to the Spider-Man, was there anything that we needed to discuss prior to the Spider-Man coming up? Not really.
I think, yes, actually. I think there's a really important, a couple of important things. So we know now that, of course we know now. Saw all the villains come right at the end of where they showed up in the movies.
Like right before they die.
Right before they die. Ock is just before he gets his change of heart.
Right, and the thing that I had a problem with that is he didn't have sunglasses on when he went into the ocean. He was not wearing sunglasses. And then in this movie, he shows up with sunglasses.
Right, but it's before that.
I thought it happened right as he was...
No. It was before he... So he has a change of heart at the end of Spider-Man 2. And he's not wearing his sunglasses then.
It was when he was recreating his machine. And so he was... And so he had the sun thing, and he did it.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I just figured either... I was like... At first I was bothered by it, but I'm like, well, maybe he had him in his coat, because... That's when you put your sunglasses, you tuck them in your coat. So maybe you just took them out because it was bright and sunny out.
But yeah, some really interesting, solid callbacks to... You're going to have to clear up any callbacks from ASM because I don't know.
And I don't... a couple of good... When they talk about the Rhino, that was a pretty good one.
That
was. Paul Giamatti as the Rhino.
Yeah. But I was going to say... the palm of the sun in or the power of the sun in the palm of your hand, and... I'm something of a scientist myself, which, by the way, was the foreshadow moment for me. I was just like, oh, that's fucking Goblin. Osborn's gone. That's only Goblin now. That's all that... It
was a good meme.
Yeah.
But no, there was a very important callback to Amazing Spider-Man, and that is Andrew Garfield saving MJ.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, yeah.
So... he talked about the fact that when he tried to save Gwen, he fucked it up.
Can we talk about how all of the returning characters got fucking story arcs in this movie?
We sure can in a second, because I'm not done.
Sorry.
So when he powers down to save MJ, instead of using his webbing, he grabs her first, then swings to protect her.
And he gives himself that extra little boost. Instead of using his webbing, he gives himself that extra boost to make sure he gets there.
I don't remember which one of us said it, because I know one of us did, and I don't remember who it was. And I thought I wrote shit down. I don't know where I wrote it down. But Doc Ock stealing the nano stuff, and that's how he got the red.
Oh, no, that was someone else. That wasn't me. I thought we were going to say Doc Ock's full-on redemption arc for the film, which I was going to be like, yes.
We mentioned it in a very passing, because we saw in the...
It might have been you then, because I don't think I did.
Miter in the trailer, we saw that his arms had been red. I'm like, that looks like because it was right after or before you talked about Electro having the arc.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
But a very cool way to shut down Doc Ock.
Yeah,
very
Spider-Man
cool.
hacked his ass.
Yeah. I dig it.
Also, we got the 8-limb fight. That was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Some
forgot
competition.
about that. Well, there was so much in this movie, I actually forgot about that. I also forgot about the fucking Harvard admissions person that they fought around.
MIT.
That
was another thing, because he said, I get it, Spider-Man himself doesn't kill, but during Endgame, he's go into kill mode and kills a bunch of, they're space aliens, so maybe space aliens don't count.
They don't.
And they're, from what I understand, they were created drones.
Yes.
In Endgame?
Yeah, they're biomechanical, I think.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't know.
They don't have souls. Peter's fine killing things that don't have souls.
It didn't bother me to the extent of like, oh my god, that was so. It didn't bother me like. I mean, I get it. He's like Batman. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. I don't feel the need to kill people. But like, it's a little different when it's a space alien and you're trying to save the fucking world versus whatever. But so it didn't bother me that much. But I thought about it for half a second when I was like, but he literally has kill mode on his suit. But
yeah, Tony put that in. He always deactivates it, except for the soulless bio aliens.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we got the 8-arm fight. That was sweet. The spider versus the octopus.
We keep putting it back. I know you don't like jumping around, but we keep saying we'll get to that in a second. We're going to get to it now. I'm real pissed off about Venom.
Yeah.
So the mid-credit is Eddie Brock at this tiki bar
in Mexico.
Don't know why he said it. Well, yes, I know why he said a tiki bar.
Trying to figure out this universe, who everyone is, what everyone is.
So he has basically the entirety of the Marvel Universe explained to him at this tiki bar, and he is getting wasted
by not Michael Pena. So that what an opportunity.
Right.
Already, it's the worst explanation of the MCU.
I'm going to throw one small connection there when he was talking about Thanos and stuff. Did you catch in Hawkeye when he was drinking out of the coffee cup? It said Thanos was right.
Yes,
sure did.
Anyways, continue.
I love it.
so Venom. Drink.
So Venom. So he's trying to get a hold of this, and just as he's finally figuring it out, much like at the end of the movie, they're able to.
He gets sent back to his universe.
They send back all of the villains at the end this time, hopefully to live and make better choices.
Yeah.
Venom ends up going back too.
Almost all of Venom.
Almost all of Venom. So a little piece of symbiote is left behind, but it's like I really wanted the interaction.
So did I.
Maybe there is an Eddie Brock in this universe, and
maybe we haven't met him yet,
and he'll find him, or we're gonna get a Spider.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the
better version of the symbiote Spider-Man.
The symbiote saga.
Maybe we might get him in Doctor Strange.
Maybe.
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible
because I mean, the very the very end credit scene was. Pretty much the new trailer for Doctor Strange, which very much brings in the What If universe.
Yep, it sure did.
Because that was
that was definitely the Sorcerer Supreme.
Kooky pants. What if? Yeah. Hey, mostly an asshole. He did save the day at the end.
No, that's true. He did.
He did, but he's still consumed by not happy thoughts.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Dark Strange.
Right, Doctor
Darker Strange,
Darker Strange,
Darker Strange,
Doctor Darker Strange.
I was just gonna say Doctor Stranger and make a sex joke, but fine, you guys go off on your Doctor Strange.
I will. Thank you.
All right,
I will too. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what they do with the symbiote fluid that was left behind. No, it's not symbiote fluid.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
What word again?
Symbiote fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we have some listeners that are also just a little squicked out by Nick saying the words symbiote. I'm sorry. What was
Symbiote?
it? Nope.
Symbiote fluid.
Yeah.
Is that like saying moist panties?
And here we are.
Welcome to our show.
I'm
just wondering if it's making the comparison. Is it like that?
Yes, it's like that. It's like that. It's like that. Don't say it again. Don't say either of them again.
I was going to. Anyway, so Venom.
That's it. I'm miffed that I was
am too.
This beautiful opportunity was immediately taken away from me.
I found it funny, but I was more miffed by it. Like I was like, God, that fucking sucks.
And I'm a little sad that we didn't get like a little, like the Peters returning to their universe, like coming back to whatever it is they were doing, like because it would have been nice to see like Peter and MJ, because we did get to find out that they made it work and that they were together and happy
it sounded like they ended up being solid,
which is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice to see too.
They probably would have had to pay Kirsten Dunst a lot of money to
I mean,
They got that Disney money, I know.
I don't know. She was just in that movie with Doctor Strange that was very uncomfortable. They're in some
Turing.
no,
Not that one.
no. It's
Kristen Dunst is still making movies?
it's brand new.
That
Well, I mean, she has a pretty successful show.
that wasn't Bring It On 7?
She has a pretty successful. She
Yeah.
was in a lot of movies back in the day, like
She
a
was.
lot of them.
I know
She was a pretty big movie star.
I had a
Yeah.
huge crush on her.
So then, why are you bringing her down?
I was going to say, I'm
just
not
like,
sure
'cause I
why we're
haven't
minimizing to
seen
bring
her
it on.
I haven't seen her in a big name movie in a long time. The last
She's been doing. She's been in a really critically acclaimed show lately. Like it's been on for a few seasons now.
Yeah, and I don't know what the name of it
don't know.
is. So,
But-
like, our vitriol is less credible this way because I can't remember.
First of all, it's called On Becoming a God.
Okay, there you go.
I don't watch that show. Sorry.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's well liked. But it's called The Power of Dog.
Okay.
And it's her and it's Benedict Cumberbatch and it's the kid from The Road with Viggo Mortensen in it. But anyway, she and Benedict Cumberbatch are definitely the main characters. And he, it's like an old West,
Okay.
kind of pioneery sort of movie. He plays like a ranch hand who's
I
like
think I remember seeing something.
horribly in the closet and becomes really like weirdly attached to this to her son, to Kirsten Dunst's son. And you see his butt so many times,
Yay!
and I believe you see some wieners too. I can't remember if you see his, but you either see it or you almost.
Free
Or
to
you
pee.
see basically the area around it. You see there's a lot of Benedict Cumberbatch nudity in this movie. So if that's what you're after, this still might not be the one because I'm not sure if I liked it or not. But it's
What do they call his?
really highly rated because it's a
What do they call his followers? A cumber
it's a
bitches or
gay
something like
cowboys eating
Yes.
pudding movie, and critics love that shit.
that? Yeah.
Like the one with Mysterio and Joker,
Yep.
which was a pretty good movie. I like that.
No.
I still have never seen it.
It's it
You should see it.
was good.
I mean, like,
it was very emotional.
Yeah.
Whereas this one just had a lot of pacing issues, and it was like there wasn't like soundtrack in between the abortion they could have had between lines in
Right,
this film,
right.
and just it has a weird indie written all over it.
speaking of pacing, this movie,
So back to Spider-Man.
back to Spider-Man, the pacing of this movie kept you going. Whether it was a slow moment or a fucking action moment, it was it flowed beautifully.
They didn't have time to slow down.
No, yeah, there were no
Son of a bitch, we're late to the next thing.
low moments in this movie. It was well paced.
Yeah.
It was really well paced.
But even the slower low moments were great. Like the movie,
Yeah.
the rooftop at night when the Peters finally meet.
So
hard to watch.
my favorite part
Okay.
of the entire movie, and this is just based off of what touched me the most, was after everything was said and done, and the Peters were saying goodbye to each other, and Tom Holland takes them.
Hug him.
And says thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely him thanking the
Yeah.
actors for paving the way for him to become Spider-Man.
Yep.
Most specifically, the best Spider-Man. A mess. That's fair.
because they're the way they talk to each other when they were trying to solve the problem of the villains,
Right.
was just so like they're like, oh hey, I don't know if you guys watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but
Yes.
they immediately became the Boyles.
Yep.
Where every moment was like, how can I help? I love you. And it was fucking beautiful, man.
It was very beautiful. My other favorite part was when he's like, "You're gonna be okay." Yeah, I've been stabbed before. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, I actually had a problem with that scene.
Why?
It sure felt like they set it up that Tobey Maguire's Peter was done. Like just straight up Dunzo,
Oh, yeah,
gone.
absolutely.
He was gone.
I think that was the plan, and then I think somebody went, that might be too much. I think we've hurt them enough today.
I feel like that's exactly what happened. Because like you took out Marissa Tomei, and
he can't just disappear without any word out of MJ's life and never come back without her knowing why. Because that's all I would have been able to think about. It would have haunted my nightmares. Mary Jane not knowing what happened to her husband.
Yeah.
Well, now she's going to come back. He's going to come back with a knife wound. He's going to have to explain that one.
How the fuck did this one happen?
Multiverse.
I'll stitch you up. I'll tell you in a minute.
It's
a doozy.
Put a bandit on it. Give me a popsicle. I'll tell you about it.
Norman says hi. How? I'll get there.
You might need a glass of wine for this one. Nope, keep going. Fill it up.
Yep.
Fill that glass of wine. There you
Yep.
go. All right.
All right. That glass is for you. Please bring me the JMO. Yeah. I thought I know prized it in my head in the movie theater in that he's got a faster healing power.
He sure does.
He's
Because Tom Holland was like, I think I broke some ribs. All of a sudden was doing everything and falling on his ribs and didn't hurt him.
They do have the Speedy Healy boy.
They do, but it's never specified in the movies. So the fact that he does have advanced healing is never mentioned. Was never mentioned in the original Raimi trilogy. Which, by the way, they're
Do you make that stuff inside of you? I don't really want to talk about how that works. I don't.
Oh my God! I'm so glad they brought up the fact that Toby Man is firing it out of his skin.
So mad if they didn't, and they made a real big deal.
Oh,
out of
they
it.
sure did.
They sure did. Well, naturally, we're curious. I mean, it's not anything gross. We're just naturally
I
curious.
don't do that. Do you do that? I don't do that either. What the fuck?
I have to make it. I'm sorry.
My all-time favorite line. Man, I wish you guys are so cool, and I never fought aliens. You guys have fought aliens. No, man, you're amazing. No, you're amazing, dude. Come on, really. It was corny, but I love the fuck out of it.
There's
I loved
a sweet love fest between the three of them. The movie reaches the movie has this beautiful piece of pacing throughout, from beginning to end, but it hits a new level when Maguire, Garfield, and Holland are on screen together.
Just Peter Parker all over each other.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's just there's a different level that they find with the three of them, and their chemistry together is amazing.
Absolutely,
It was
outstanding.
It was spectacular.
They might be the best.
It was sensational.
They might be the best threesome ever.
I was hoping he would maybe get set him up, and you had to take two.
My other one, and I guarantee you
he had Web of left.
I guarantee you that this was probably an improv line when Jamie Foxx goes, "There's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere."
No, I think that was written.
I really appreciate that Peter 3 was genuinely apologetic that he wasn't black.
Yeah, you're from Brooklyn. You help the poor people. Man, I thought you were black. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I also appreciated the fuck out of Jamie Foxx in this movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
he was so good.
Yeah, and it also took me the second time watching it to pick up on some small things, like the gold in his suit at the end was from the returned nanobites.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that the first time. For some odd reason, I didn't catch it. I don't know how I didn't catch it, but I didn't.
Sure,
I don't know.
I will say that this is now the second time that they've opened the possibility to Miles Morales. So I'm hoping, and from what Tom has said, he's sort of hinted at that soon the torch will be passed.
Yeah.
So I think Miles will be next, and hopefully I'm hoping Donald Glover comes back
as Prowler.
Yeah.
And I do believe Tom has signed something either with Sony or somebody to continue to play Spider-Man a couple more times.
He has an informal agreement currently.
Yeah. And that can also include group movies like the new Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he just retires and that they don't fucking kill him off so that he can come back.
Yeah.
Or just leave him where he's at and he helps out every once in a while, because they kind of left him in a good spot where the story could go anywhere. They could do the story arc where he reintroduces himself to the world, to the people he wants, that reintroduces his relationship with MJ. At first, I did think when at the end when Ned comes in, I thought that they were going to be like, oh, we're in a relationship now. Like,
I thought so too when he came in.
Oh God, I
when he-
so thought so too.
I thought for sure he was going to come over and give her a big old smoocheroo.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, I
100%.
totally expected that.
Good. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
No,
then.
you're not crazy.
It was there.
I will say though that this movie like sort of reset the Spider universe to right back to 63 Spider-Man. Like we're right back to he's got an apartment. He's just going to try and live and just get by and work and do his best as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like the whole.
He becomes a Spider-Man, the old Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man through the Spider-Verse.
I don't know why any of that needed to be said conspiratorially.
That was my prediction. Tom Holland's. I mean, the story's a little different.
The Peter B. Parker in Into the Spider-Verse was not officially
Right.
but was Toby.
Yeah. I know, but I just was trying to make it work in my head.
And so they kind of played off that in this movie.
Yeah.
He's the MCU version of that. He will become the MCU version of that.
He's not even the MCU version of that. He's the whole different universe sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But
But I liked the reset. I liked it.
Me too. He's got this fresh new suit.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
hair is shiny.
I love it. And again, like I said, back to 63 Spider-Man, bright blue and red.
It's like, why don't we try out LeMay to see how that works?
Yeah.
And apparently got his GED, didn't finish high school.
Well, how could he finish high school? Nobody knows him.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
He had to basically say, yeah, I was homeschooled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was homeschooled. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know.
Shiny new suit, new beginning.
I will say that the character arcs, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, but every major villain, I mean, aside from...
Lizard. Oh, by the way, Lizard sure was there.
Oh, yeah, Lizard sure was in this movie.
He showed up, and then that
He got
wrapped
fixed.
up.
Yep. And same with Sandman, but to a slightly lesser degree. But
Well, Sandman at least had like things to say and opinions, and Lizard was just sort of.
Hi, guys.
He didn't care either way. He's like, whatever, man.
yeah,
Is this what's happening? I'll come.
Yeah.
I guess.
he was definitely there as a flunky, and that's okay. But every returning character had a story arc. Like from the moment you talk to Andrew Garfield, he's like, my girlfriend died. I couldn't save her. And like his movie defining moment was saving MJ.
Clearly affecting Gwen.
Or well, yeah, yes.
Oh,
Gwen.
his
movie defining
yes.
his arc defining moment in this movie was saving MJ. And like
And Toby's
was stopping the glider
was
because he
saving-
couldn't stop the glider the first time.
was saving Norman.
Yeah, because he couldn't save Norman the first time. Because he talks about it too. He's like, I've been thinking about this for a long time. When they're figuring out the serum and whatnot. Yeah, like they had arcs. Doc. The only thing I disliked about Doc Ock's part of the movie was that he wasn't automatically with Tom the rest of the film because he made the transition. He was a good guy again, but like he just disappeared and showed back up when it was
Convenient.
Convenient
Almost
to
like it's a movie.
yeah, yeah. I know.
Well, you know, he had he still had some internal stuff to figure out.
I guess, but yeah.
He had to take the long way, and but no, just I like that it also with that moment with the glider really hammered down how fucking strong Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, nope, nope.
I got all day, kid.
I can do this all day.
Wrong guy. It's fine. Whatever.
Although they seem to, with Tom Holland, to me it seemed like they made him a little weaker because I'm like, this guy took on Captain America and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and took less damage than he is against Green Goblin. And
I have the answer for that too. In the comics, the Green Goblin serum is yet again another
super
knockoff
soldier.
of the Super Soldier serum,
Right.
And it's it's stronger than the super soldier serum, but it also has some pretty nasty side effects that we see, such as split personality.
Well, right, I get that.
They really do establish it in the very first Spider-Man movie that makes it that they were making a super soldier formula.
Right. Yeah.
So he is strong.
Yeah.
And obviously the other characters don't exist in the other Spider-Man verses because they don't know who the Avengers are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that a band? Are you in a band? Are you in a band? Oh, that's so cool. I loved that moment. That was good.
The three of them together was golden.
It was perfect. It was executed perfectly.
I have not seen the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, but now, like, both Joanna and I were like, we need to watch them because his golden retriever energy is everything.
There are people who deeply want Sony to finish his trilogy now.
Yeah.
They want to give him one more movie because he stole this show.
I thought he was very good. I think Toby was the anchor of the three of them, and of course Tom was the leading man. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Andrew definitely stole the Spider show, as it were. I think Willem Dafoe, walked by Garfield, mushroom stamped him on the face, and went, "Sit down," because he stole the show for me. That was his fucking movie, and it took 3 Spider-Men to take care of him.
Is that
Purple hoodie and all.
Purple hoodie and all. God, I love that costume. It was so good.
I was also thinking about what you were just talking about with the new Spider-Man, the new beginning. So if he was still Spider-Man, everybody knows him as Spider-Man, but doesn't know he's Peter Parker. So he lost all of that connection to Stark Tech. Yes?
Yeah, that's why he's got the blue lame.
I know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm just saying that, like, it just... I don't know. I'm probably way overthinking and thinking way too hard about, like, thinking about all the past movies he was in and then pretending like he wasn't Peter Parker or they didn't know him as Peter Parker or Iron Man.
It definitely leaves a plot hole of how did some of these things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hope it's addressed because it's a pretty sizable plot hole.
Okay, so I'm not crazy about overthinking about the plot hole of that whole spell thing. Okay.
No.
I mean, like with Tony, it doesn't really matter because he's dead now. But like everything that transpired, like so did like
every other surviving Avenger.
Let's just let's even just take the Quinjet scene with him and Happy at the end of which happened just 2 weeks ago in this movie. Where he was rebuilding Iron Man or a new Spider suit. How does Happy see that happening?
Happening.
Happening.
How does Far From Home any of it happen?
Exactly.
How does S.H.I.E.L.D. contact him? How does Mysterio not win? Does Mysterio even? I guess
does that video even exist?
Do any of those events exist? Because now the glasses wouldn't have been given to Peter, so that Mysterio wouldn't have been able to get his hands on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and I've just gone blind.
Yep.
Massive plot holes.
There are it's just not plot holes so much as a lot of questions that need to be answered in the cleanup, and maybe they'll fix some of that in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Maybe. Which, by the way, we get a full ass trailer for it as the end credit scene at the end of Spider-Man,
which we mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure do. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be good.
It looks fun.
And then they bring back some people in that one even.
I'm going to miss Marissa Tomei.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's talk about real quick. I could gush all day about Willem Dafoe, but let's talk real quick about the Sky when he smashes the box.
Oh, all the characters?
All the characters?
The red herring that came to nothing?
Yeah, the Craven and then the fucking...
Craven, Rhino, Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the other ones I was trying to look at very, very quickly, which I'm going to have to watch.
And that's why I want to see it again, is because I really want to
catch them. Yeah.
I really want to focus on it because I was trying to absorb everything I could in the movie. I'm like, it's too much.
Well, but I think they pointed out like the main ones, like the Rhino, obviously, Scorpion, Kraven, because you hear the lion roar too. Yeah. But I want to like pause like the DVD and like go through and see what other little
see which
funny little
are...
characters they put in there.
Pause the Disney Plus streaming.
Yep,
sure,
exactly.
Yeah, no, definitely not a DVD.
Whatever. Maybe I'll buy the DVD for the extras because Disney Plus doesn't have the extra stuff. Blu-ray, whatever. The DVD, Blu-ray looks the same. Does it really does?
It's all just a Nintendo, whatever.
I honestly believe. Well,
oh shit, he's that age now, isn't he? Fuck.
No. It's not that. I get the science behind Blu-ray is better and will last longer than DVDs does because the laser burns at much cooler temperatures. The picture quality is not that much different, and I will fight somebody on it about picture quality between Blu-ray and DVD, which is what their big selling point was when it first came out.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
So that's my only thing with Blu-ray and DVD. I mean, I love Blu-rays too because they usually put more content, extra content, which of course I love
because they can.
Because I'm weird, and I think Lee is the only other guy that I know that watches all the extra content on everything. Did you watch all the extra content of all of the Lord of the Rings movies? Lee's the only other guy I know that's done that. But anyways, that's the only reason I'd buy them because of the extra stuff. I want to watch the deleted scenes, and
I still stand by that Chasing Amy has the best like director's commentary of any movie ever.
I can't watch director's commentary. I don't know why.
And me either. Usually, this one is a banger.
Who does it?
Well, it's
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith and a couple people on his team. Jason Mewes is there, sort of. The problem is you can tell he's stoned out of his mind. He keeps falling asleep, but he'll wake up and react to whatever is on that screen at the moment. The best version of this being like they're getting to the famous ice rink scene,
right?
Oh yeah,
where they have that big fight. That while they're arguing, the fight on the ice is taking place. So it's leading up to that point, and I forget who the other guy is, but he goes, "Is Jason asleep again?" And Kevin just goes, "Yep, he sure is." And then it gets to the ice rink, and you just hear him go, "Ice rink, nooge." I'm like, this is what I'm here for. So he'll randomly chime in with non sequiturs that have nothing to do with anything, and then just shut up for a little while longer.
I think they talked about that on a Kevin Smith special when Jason Mewes was there. One of the last ones he filmed. Then when Jason Mewes showed up, and then they talked about, you did the commentary on the movie. He's like, I did. He's like, you don't remember because I know you were high as fuck.
He was high on heroin for it. Yeah,
and even there's some things like Kevin does. Just, oh, shut up! I like this part. I'm being told we can't shut up.
It was probably his other producer,
Scott Mosier.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah. It's his number one. It's his number one. It's his record. It's his record. His card. So Spider-Man.
Yeah.
See, Mewes is his Riker. Mosier is his Data.
Yes, I agree with this.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Snoogans.
But yeah, back to Spider-Man.
What?
If you say something about Willem Dafoe again, I'm gonna have to smack you. I think you've officially run out of.
We get it. He makes you a nut.
He sure does. But actually, I was going to talk about how much Jamie Foxx stepped up his game, and like, I want to talk real quick about the fact that like they didn't cheap out on Electro. Like he came in blue. Mm-hmm. And like they fixed that real quick, which I liked.
Are we gonna pretend like I'm not just standing here naked? I was going to.
Yeah,
there's just so many great lines in that movie.
No, Jamie Foxx I thought was very good, and like if he didn't have to compete with Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe for screen time, he could have carried this movie too,
for sure.
Like the three of them. All let's not kid ourselves. Reese Ifans and Thomas Hayden Church could not have carried this movie.
No. And of course, I think we talked about this also, that we all predicted that scene where Spider-Man was flying at the three of them, and we're all like, okay, they're clearly not all flying at fucking stuff.
Though we were wrong, it was not a punch, it was a kick.
No,
yep.
To Lizard's big, dumb, lizardy face.
Sure Again, I state, worst kept secret since Khan.
Right.
Ugh. Come on, guys.
I think you mean Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. Worst kept secret since Wait a minute. No, I mean Khan.
What was his...
Harrison. John
Yes.
Harrison.
John Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was played by Bandersnatch Cumberbund. God.
First of all, his name is Eldibert Slapdyback.
Throwbacks.
Burt Reynolds, Cumsnatch.
Yeah, this movie was really good. It was.
It sure was.
I'm trying to get us back on track here.
No, that's fair.
Let's get back to the movie. Anything else we missed that we?
I don't think we have talked about Doctor Strange in this movie, and that the dynamic between him and Peter was not much. It actually was just like they were buddies.
It seemed like more like Doctor Strange was like annoyed with him.
Yeah.
All the movie, and then he makes these small little quips about how much I'm going to miss you.
Right.
And it was kind of weird. Like I'm like, why is he? I mean,
There was better-
Doctor Strange is kind of a dick to everybody, but
But there was better chemistry between the Peters
oh god, yeah.
than there was from Doc Strange.
Yeah. Just trying to think of something with Ned. No. No, nice him. Go see
Why
this
did
movie.
Jacob Batalon lose 100 pounds for this role?
It was probably after he was done filming. This movie was done filming.
Yeah, he was.
No,
Like,
but
he was mid weight loss, but he's still a lot thinner now than he was even in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he probably lost all
But
the weight.
like
after.
everyone said that like he lost 100 pounds for this role, and I'm like, but
No,
why?
because it was
And-
people were reading the internet wrong.
Okay, maybe.
Because they're dumb.
I mean, he did do a lot more running in this
I
one.
suppose.
But I think he's supposed to be in something coming up soon, and I think he
Cool.
either lost it for that or because he wanted to.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. It's just every report I saw was reporting that like he lost 100 pounds for Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, but why?
We were wrong about the little things that they were kept in. It was not a Hulk thing. It was
No.
a thing that they needed to keep Hulk in, apparently. But and also hilarious that Doctor
just in
Strange could
mausoleums.
just walk through them
Well,
because magic. And
Because they were his.
and Ned was saved by the cape.
yeah.
That was it was kind of cool because he was like, I'm magical, and then the cape saves him, and he's floating down like Doctor Strange does, and it was cool. I had a happy moment for Ned.
I did too. I also had like watching that moment. I'm like, guess Ned doesn't warrant the saving throw of one of the headliners. He gets the opening act of Cape.
I do feel that the cape is a character, though.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that like MJ gets saved by a Spider-Man
Because the cape doesn't need a redemption arc.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I understand
Not a
that.
redemption
but,
arc, but a feel good moment.
right, but like MJ gets saved by a multiversal superhero. Ned gets picked up by a blanket.
It was to really hammer in the fact that he was
The
a
second
sorcerer,
banana?
because that he was a prospective sorcerer because the cape respected him.
Right.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, that I can accept.
Yeah, because the cape hasn't saved anybody else except for the head of Paul Rudd. Here's the question: why does Doctor Strange still have the eye of
Agamotto.
if it's not protecting the time stone anymore?
It's still a magical artifact.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was just
it's still
a
his
powerful.
favorite. It's still his favorite piece of bling.
Oh, all right, fair enough. It's kind of like Flavor Flav and his clock watches.
There you go.
All right,
Sure.
or watch necklaces. That's what I was trying to say. Clock watches. Nerd. Watch necklaces. All right. So, anything else about this movie that we?
Did you notice the broken Black Dahlia necklace at the end of the film?
Yes,
Okay.
I absolutely did. She was wearing it.
She wore it the whole film, but
whole
like she
film.
was still wearing it after she forgot who Peter was.
Right. So, yeah.
So like some part of her brain is like, Peter.
So then that
yes.
says that everything that happened in Far From Home.
Must have happened.
It had to have happened.
somehow.
I think it's just. I think they just.
I need answers.
So that means they had that. That means they had to have that conversation on the bridge,
Yeah.
which is probably why she gives that strange look after he leaves. It's like, God, I feel like I fucking know him.
And I'm almost wondering if everything still had to have happened. They kind of what it did was. There's a spell in Harry Potter that's similar to it. It just basically erased all knowledge of him. It's a blank spot. It's like it's a memory you can't quite pull up.
Is it like in Kill Bill where they can't say the bride's name and they just hear?
Kinda.
Yeah,
I feel like kinda.
All right.
I think of it like that episode of Scrubs. Stay with me. I think of it like that episode of Scrubs where JD goes, "Oh my God, I'm trying to. Oh my God, I can't remember what you draw when you draw something." Like that idea of like, it's so vague they can't even quite put their finger on what it is that they're missing.
Right. I did also like how MJ was like, "I want to figure it out anyway, so you better come find me, or I'm going to figure it out."
I did love that. It's pretty great. And she said, "I love you." Oh my God, my heart.
Yeah. And then he was going to say it, and she's like, "No."
Oh, he says it. It's just like she fully runs over him and is like, "Nah, do it later."
Yeah.
Which I dig.
So he didn't say it. Anything else we need to talk about this movie?
So I could talk about it for days.
Nah. Well, we're running long. That's why I'm
So
wondering.
talk about it for days. Yeah, no, this is great. If you have,
If you're listening to this, you've probably
seen it.
I would hope so by now.
We would love y'all's thoughts, your gripes, if any. What your favorite
yeah.
part was. What
Do you agree with us? Disagree with us?
what gave you the biggest Peter tingle?
Oh, we were the Peter Tingly thing. Oh god, that was so funny.
I'm surprised they didn't name it as the Spider Sense, but that's awesome. I do want to ask you guys a couple questions real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to rank it. So think about it, and I'm going to ask for 2 rankings.
I have to write this shit down.
That's okay. The first ranking being MCU. Okay, but think about where it fits within the MCU and how, as far as those movies, where do you think it sits? And we'll come back to that
mean
one
me
in
personally?
a second. Yeah, you personally. Where does it rank for you in the world of the MCU films? Is it top 10, top 5, top 3 for best? And we'll come back to that question in a second because the other question is where do you rank it in the
Spider-Man
Spider-Verse?
movies?
Yeah.
In the Spider-Man movies, number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man movies.
Oh wow, that's
I
we're
think,
just gonna
I think it
hang on. You, Kevin,
am ranking it higher than Spider-Man 2.
are
Yes.
ranking it higher than Spider-Man 2. Wow, which is your favorite superhero movie of all time? And you're ranking this higher than Spider-Man 2. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
number 1.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, I will say that Spider-Man 2, it's been shifted slightly by recent entries. I think the MCU keeps crushing it.
I do too.
Further and further, I'm gonna also put it in my top 3 of the MCU, whether it's number 1 or not. That's always kind of morphing. I think my favorite movie is whatever one I'm watching at that moment.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that it's number 1, there's a culmination of things required to watch to get it there. But the fact that it wraps everything up so well is what makes it number 1 to me.
Yeah.
I think it was a hell of a closure on some left open stories.
Yeah.
Knowing that he and MJ are going to be all right.
Yep.
Yep.
And knowing that Garfield's Peter is redeemed.
That he can move on and
Yeah.
that movie itself might have undone Spider-Man 3. For that, it's the crowning achievement to me.
Yeah.
Because if Norman Osborn goes back and doesn't, torture himself and doesn't torture his son and makes better choices, then of course, the Harry doesn't become the
Goblin,
the cock slab that he is in 2
Yeah.
and 3. Which undoes a lot of events. Now the Venom thing might still happen, and the Sandman thing might still happen, but it undoes a lot of other pains of Spider-Man 3, and I think and that's I like that.
Okay. So Nick, number 1 Spider-Man movie.
Number 1 Spider-Man movie,
Where in the MCU?
top 5.
Top 5.
Only because mine flips between because Endgame was just so good. Why? I'm trying to figure out like Endgame, Infinity War, Age of Ultron, this movie. I love Age of Ultron. I don't know why. I just think it's a very fun movie.
I don't disagree. I'll admit.
And even the first Avengers movie, which Hawkeye touching moment. Ugh, fuck. At the bridge.
Okay.
Sounded like you got kind of hot there.
Yeah, it did.
touching moment. That moment could touch me.
It was supposed to be like the getting verklempt moment, but
is that what that was?
All I heard was,
I just want to feel you.
Maybe they're one and the
inside
same. I feel that between Endgame and this, those are two huge flips of the page, proverbial new chapters in a very short span of time, which is very different than what the MCU has done over the past 10 years. But obviously, they had to get to this point. But done beautifully. Like I don't think they could do it any different. I don't want them to change anything about it. I don't need any little part or thing changed for this story to wrap up everything nicely for all of the Spider-Men, and then to also give the current Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, a new fresh start to go wherever they would like him to go, with leaving things open with the Venom. But again, I agree with you. I'm sad that Tom and Tom don't get to fight each other, which would be just fun in very many different ways. But yeah, I think this was just masterfully done. You're right, Kevin. The MCU does keep crushing it. They keep improving. It's hard to say, hold my beer to the previous movie, but MCU keeps doing it. Yeah. And it's impressive as fuck, because how do they do it? But they do it, and it's just so well done. And it was, I mean,
we should be sick of these by now, but instead they
here we are.
They keep pulling you in.
I just remember sitting after the first time I saw it, waiting for the end credit scene, because you have to sit through all the fucking credits. Okay.
Hey, those people do an important job.
They do. Yeah. They do. Absolutely, they do. But just sitting there, just feeling like overwhelmed with joy at how much I really loved this movie and how much it just brought me happiness. Oh, there were sad moments too, but ooh, what's next? Like that. What gets me into a TV show or a series is that, ooh, what's going to happen in the next episode? Like, I'm at that point with the movies now. I'm like, ooh, what's happening in the next episode? Whereas I'm not that excited about any. I might have to give up my Star Wars card for this, but I like with Star Wars. Like, I'm like, okay, what do they got? All right, well, that's okay. Well, that's fine. That was good. That was fun. That was enjoyable. But I'm not like excited.
It's a little more hit and miss,
right? Yeah. I'm not like looking forward to what the next, maybe the video game. But like with the MCU, I'm just, what's next?
I think you're not looking forward to Book of Boba Fett.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely, I am. But I'm just saying,
sounds like what he was saying. Get him, Kevin.
I said I might have to give up my Star Wars card.
And this is coming from a I hate Boba Fett boy.
It's true. Maybe he might get a redemption arc for you.
He got it. Mandalorian, man. Right. He got me. That son of a bitch.
So I'll say that, Spider-Man, as far as Spider-Man movies go, number one. MCU film, I still think it's top 3. But for me, MCU movies, ranking them, and I shot myself in the foot for this one because I was like, rank your MCU films. And then my brain goes, well, you can't. They're all different genres. You can't actually rank them. So, because I'm a pedantic asshole. I don't know how you rank the MCU movies, but top 3 for sure. Especially when you put them into the subcategory of the epic movie, which definitely fits Avengers, Guardians. Any of the Avenger films, the Guardians, Captain America: Civil War, I think fits in there, and then this one, Spider-Man: No Way Home. That the fact that they brought back so many actors, and none of them, aside from unfortunately Thomas Hayden Church and Rhys Ifans, none of them were relegated off to the side. they all had a big part of the movie. And oh man, it was very good. I loved this movie, and I cannot wait to see it again.
I just thought about what you asked me about Boba Fett. Yes, I'm excited about it, but I'm cautiously optimistic about it because one, while yes, Jon Favreau's still in charge of that world, and he does a phenomenal job with it, you still have Dave Filoni who can might, but you know what I mean. You know, I mean, he's not going to fuck it up, but he just is kind of a one area of Star Wars, and we talk about it all the time about how he's sucking the prequels cocks, and like, great, we get it, that's great storyline, but then can we get away from that a little bit and do something different?
And I agree with that. I've bitched about this constantly.
Yeah.
But like fucking Obi-Wan, I can't wait for.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars Eclipse, holy fucking shit.
Rogue Squadron.
Have you seen the trailer for Star Wars Eclipse?
Yeah, the video game.
Yeah, the Star Wars Arrakis or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking.
That's why I said except maybe the video game.
Fuck,
That's
man.
what I meant by that. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So anyway.
Sorry, I'll stop that.
Well, much like I think we've talked all the Spider-Man we can, yeah?
No.
But all the Spider-Man we should.
We should for this episode. But much like how this Spider-Man is wrapped up very nicely, this is our very last episode for 2021. Yeah. So we hope that everybody's had, by this time it airs, it'll be New Year's Eve-ish. So hopefully everybody had a good holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate during this time.
Avoid that Omicron. Get your fucking shots.
Exactly. Everybody stay safe, and we hope that everybody will have a wonderful and safe and happy New Year.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sorry.
What?
I was afraid you were going to say 2022, and I was just going to be like, nope.
Nobody has to call 2022 as their year. We're all just going
to one day at a time. One day at a time.
Walk in slowly. Nobody make a sudden move. Just fucking
There's a sleeping violent cat in the room, and you don't want to wake it.
We're not going to make a plan because if it does, it'll all go to hell anyway. So we're not going to do that. But anyways,
although admittedly, 2021 was better than 2020. Not by much, but
yeah,
it gave us Spider-Man.
It did give us Spider-Man,
and Shang-Chi,
Yeah. It's a true story.
Also in my top 3.
I wonder if he's going to make an appearance in the new Doctor Strange movie. So yeah, anything else, guys? Yeah, well, if that's it, then this has been Best Threesome Ever, episode 142, brought to you by Heroic Goods and Games and Jaybird Wines. We want to wish you a happy New Year, and I'm Peter.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Peter.
We don't know which number we are, but we like it that way.
Hey, we established.
Oh, wait, we did. I'm always Peter 2.
I'm Peter 3 or Peter 1, depending.
We'll do it by age.
Okay, I'm Peter 1.
I'm Peter 2.
I'm Peter 3. I'm Peter 3.
Hey, number 3.
Yeah. Hey, number 2. Anyways, we will, everybody have a safe, happy New Year, and we will see you next year. Yeah, cheesy joke, I know.
Boo.
The views held here by the nerds of Best Threesome Ever do not directly reflect the views of nerds everywhere.